So, so then we can start. Yeah. So, so very welcome to this somatic yoga class. Maybe actually you could all mute yourself now. If you've got any questions, Ingela, wenn du dich auch mal wieder da oben in der rechten Ecke, ich habe das schon für dich, wenn du draufklickst, Dankeschön, so passt's, super. Okay, so yeah, so welcome to Somatic Yoga. I'm going to give a brief introduction for the ones of you that are new to it. Today in this class we're going to focus on the shoulders and the hips and how they relate to one another and how we can release and relax them. The beauty with somatic yoga is that you can be really tired or lacking energy and not having maybe energy even to want to move, but still benefit from it as the movements are so small, so tiny and so effortless. So it becomes actually a very powerful practice, which is quite unexpected, as most of us are trained to be pushing above the edge, pushing beyond of our capacities. And so this work is to undo the overdoing that we have programmed us with since quite a few centuries. And so it is to really slow down and check in with your sensations that you have. And we all have pain spots, most of us, a few lucky ones might not. And it's so to detect the pain spots and move around it. So not go, yeah, it hurts, I kind of like it because I'm used to it and I'm just going to push through, but stop before that. And I used to liken the movement practice to, rather than taking the airplane from Hamburg to Greece, you would drive by car. So you'd take like 3 days to get there, and the journey itself, starting in Hamburg and then going through all the different countries, you eventually end up in Greece, and you've had a whole beautiful experience already, and you drove through all the different countries and getting a lot of impressions whilst on the journey until you arrive there. So it's the same with the somatic yoga. So we can all, just so you don't get bored, because I talk all the time, let's do it practical, just a little simple exercise before we come down onto the floor. So you can just sit comfortably, any which way. You can be on a chair, you can be cross-legged, legs long, doesn't matter. We're going to take the shoulders. We're not going to take them, we're just going to start tuning into them. So just give yourself a moment to check in if you are seated comfortably. You may want to close the eyes. And just take a moment to notice your natural breath. Where can you feel that breath expressing? And can you just allow your breath to happen naturally? Now we come to focus, and there's many different techniques that we know how we can emphasize on breath. What is your natural breath like right now? Where can you feel it? And how is it moving through your body? Do you feel a sense of heaviness or lightness in your body? And do you feel centered, or is there a pulling forwards or backwards or to one side? And how could you arrange yourself to come fully centered? So it may just be a micro movement, sliding the whole spine a little further back, or maybe adjusting the head so that you get a sense of your central column from the crown down to your tailbone through the spine, almost like a tree trunk, and with full connection. So rather than the head kind of dropping forwards or sidewards, how can you adjust yourself to sense that organic line of your spine through the neck into the head and crown. Let's all take 3 deeper breaths. Welcome through the nose, letting that breath come in. Exhaling any which way that feels good to you, nose or mouth. Little sigh perhaps. Twice more. Inhaling through the nose, if that's possible. Exhale. And one last inhalation and full exhalation. Feel the sinking of your body whilst the exhalation naturally comes and concludes. So here's that example for a simple somatic yoga practice. I'd like you to become present now with any sensation you can sense in and around your left shoulder. Can you feel the front, the back? Can you feel the top of your shoulder? Can you feel the outer corner? And does the shoulder feel as if it's dropping, or does it feel lifted? Is there tightness or tensing in your way of sitting there in a relaxed way, or does your shoulder truly feel relaxed? And there is no right or wrong, there's nothing we're looking for in specific. All we're looking for is what is present for you in this moment right now inside your left shoulder naturally. Can imagine the slowest of escalators from previous centuries, just like that escalator, very slowly driving upwards, evenly transporting people. Can you now allow your left shoulder to very slightly let it raise up? And so this is the journey from Hamburg to Greece in a beetle, not in an airplane. So we're taking time and sensing what feels good. How far does it feel good to let the shoulder slide up slowly and evenly and smoothly? And then when is it enough? And when do you feel like releasing the shoulder? Again, we're traveling backwards now. So we're not jumping back over the lake from Greece to Hamburg. We're taking the 3 days back as well. And maybe, probably even longer, as now we're in a holiday mode. Okay. Can you fully release the shoulder out? Just take a moment there. Give yourself time, as you would when arriving to start a holiday. You don't come into relaxation straight away. You've got to do a few things, massage and this and that. Deep breaths, swim in the ocean. That's your relaxation. Pause. And then we'll do a second round. And it's fine to be bored here. When you're ready, allow your left shoulder one more time to slowly slide up. Regularly imagine that this is an escalator transporting people, so can't be fast, can't be bumpy. Find that comfort zone when it is enough for you, when you still can relax around the raising of the shoulder. And then slowly decide when you're ready to release the shoulder back down. We're driving the beetle, we're not flying. And then do that just a few more times, maybe twice is enough, on the same side, the left side. And I'd like you to become aware of the sensations inside that shoulder, but also around that area. So there may be some other muscles starting to switch on in the neck, or maybe the head starts to maybe drop over to one side. And this is where we educate ourselves. So when you sense those, I call them helper muscles, switching on, and they want to help the shoulder raise up, can you invite those helper muscles in the neck or the head or the face or the feet or the legs? Can you invite them just to relax, switch themselves off? Lovely. And once you've done your few rounds of slow moving the left shoulder, come to rest. Stay present with the sensation inside. So inside, this is your inner landscape of sensation with the eyes closed, invisible to anyone outside of your being. That's your Soma. And how does your Soma feel right now? How has your breath changed or shifted, perhaps? Or maybe, how does it feel being the same? And then I invite you just to repeat the same exercise now. 3 times will be enough on the right side with your right shoulder. So when you're ready, maybe just tune in before you start if you still feel relaxedly seated, or if you could improve your posture to feel even more comfortable. You may want to change the legs or the way you have them crossed or long. I like stretching my face in between to release tension in the jaw. So then the right shoulder starts to travel. And this is your right shoulder. Okay, so this is no longer Hamburg to Greece. This may be Istanbul to California. A completely different journey. And how can you tune in consciously into this present moment, each present moment of when you're letting your shoulder consciously travel. Smooth, easy, and with pleasure. So this technique is called Pandiculation, and it has 4 sequences, so to say. So the initiation, then the traveling into it, the top of the movement, and then the sliding out. And actually that will be the 5th one. If you slide out, then you come to rest. So that's even more important. So in between the resting, and it's fine still being with your shoulder, going through the time it takes. In this resting, when you get there to complete this one move, that's the time when your brain starts to realize what has been missing in terms of neurological connection from your muscle to brain. And it's adapting, it's repairing, it's cognizing, and it's improving. So this is why it's so important that you give yourself that pause and waiting for all the muscles to go switch off, another one, switch off. Okay. So, yeah. So that was a simple example, and we stay as simple as we've started. So you're invited now to come lying on the floor when you're ready. And you may want something, just be comfortable. If you can, I invite you to be lying down plain, without any cushions, without support, not saying on the wooden floor. Have something soft, as in a couple of yoga mats, or it can be nice to have a yoga mat on top, because that keeps your feet standing up without sliding. So make sure you've got something non-slidable for under your feet. Maybe also have a blanket ready. You will get colder than what you are now. Or you may want to grab long trousers if you're sat there in -degrees, even inside the house. If it feels uncomfortable for your head to be on the bare floor, do take a little cushion. So something which isn't kind of yanking your head up by 10 centimeters, but just a little bit. So the feet come standing hip width apart. And by hip width, I mean, if you imagine skiers, you place them parallel, and if you were to look onto yourself from above with a bird's eye, you would have the center of your hips, the center of your knees, and the center of your feet parallel, as if skiing tracks, roughly. And then from there, I invite you to place your feet any which way, walking them further away from the buttocks or closer in, until you find that most comfortable position of where you feel that your leg muscles can relax. So there's no more dropping of the knees outwards or inwards, as if there is, then it means that your thigh muscles need to stay switched on, and we want them to relax. Your arms can be either alongside the body, or maybe you feel like having the hands on the hips or the belly, or anywhere else. You're welcome to close the eyes or keep them open. And give yourself now just a few moments to arrive on the floor. Tuning into your natural breath. Allowing your facial muscles to soften. Imagine warm honey dribbling down over your face. So the wrinkles in the forehead and around the eyes can start to disappear. Cheek muscles melt open. There's a sort of hanging sensation of a wet cloth draped over a chair. Just your facial muscles, that is. The expression of a cow, placid. Gomuk. I'm gonna invite you to a Soma Scan, a small Soma Scan now. It's to have us ground before we start our practice, going into the shoulders and hips. You can do that with the eyes closed and just as you are, lying down there, the feet standing on the floor, knees bent, hands on the belly or arms alongside the body, palms up or down, does not matter. Can you bring your presence right down into the soles of your feet? Notice the left and the right sole of the foot. What's the relationship to the sole of the foot and the earth? Can you notice the puffiness of your toe mounds, so that that lung-shaped part underneath your toes? Can you sense into that? A bit like puffy baby's feet. Come to notice the center of both feet, so the arch, left and right side, and how much space is there. Left foot. Is your foot arched at all, or is it flat on the floor? And if it's arched, how much space is there from the inner left center foot down to the ground? And then what is the shape, kind of like a crescent moon shape, the outer corner of your left foot, back to the heel and forwards towards the toe mound and the toes? How can you sense that? And what is the contact like from that crescent moon shape, left foot to the earth? Can you feel into the center of your heel, that center on which you're standing, left foot we're still? Come to notice how much weight is pouring into the outer foot and inner foot. Do you feel your left big toe lifted, or is it in touch with the ground? And how do you feel your other 4 left toes? Are they curled? Are they relaxed? Are they tight or numb? Or any other sensation? And then come into the sole of your right foot and come to notice what may be different here in the right sole of the foot, scanning by yourselves the different places in the sole of your foot, the center, the instep or the arch, then the heel, toe mound and the toes, taking some time now to do that. And then could you start to allow the inner corners of your feet to press them both simultaneously down, and that may mean that your knees come a little bit closer. So as if you were walking just more on the insides of the feet, just pressing down lightly. Notice how that affects your lower back. And then release out. And I like to think of this, if it's like a walking down into the ground, when you imagine cats, how they press their puffy little feet down into a cushion. It's the same sort of sensation. So just go maybe 2 or 3 more times, just lightly pressing the inner sides of your feet into the ground. The outer corners of the feet stay connected to the earth. So you're just shifting the weight of the knees and the legs a little closer together through the pressing of your insides of the feet. And then release that out. Feel your knees swinging a little back out, so you're train tracking again, back onto those skiers. And one last time. And we continue this kind of journeying from Hamburg to Greece, so it's a slow movement. We're not into gymnastics and getting medals and all that. Different place. Okay. And just one last time, actually noticing what happens in your lower back and in your hips when you press the insides of your feet, and what happens on the journey of releasing the knees back out to neutral. Lovely. Okay. And then we'll come and take that into the outer corners of the feet now. So allow yourselves to press the outer corners of your feet, left and right, so that blade, that crescent moon-shaped blade, allowing the knees to release a little outwards, coming a little further away, and then when you come out of the movement, the feet come to land with even weight. Notice what happens in the knees with the legs, and also what happens in the lower back, maybe 4, 5, 6 times. The movement is small, so you may just take 5% of the pressure that you could apply if you would use all your force, just 5 or 10%. And yes, you could move your knees all the way out, but that's not the point. So it's just a ripple from the feet pressing, and then the knees follow. Okay. Lovely. Let the next one be your last one. And then come to rest for a moment. You may want to relax the legs down if that is comfortable to you. If there's any discomfort in the lower back, keep at least one knee bent, one foot standing, or both knees bent, both feet standing, and then alternate so you balance out. Notice sensation inside your soma. How do you feel, same or different now? And then come to stand up your feet again. We're going to go into the hips first now. So that was a Soma Scan Often we'll do them through the whole body, but today we did a little detailed session for the feet and to create awareness through the legs and hips. So now we're going to bring consciousness into the pelvis. And we're going to start with a technique called arch and curl. So we do that with our tailbone, with the end of the spine. Feet stay standing, knees bend, whole body relaxed on the floor. And it's a micro movement. So we keep the whole body rested into the floor, the whole back body. And I'm going to invite you now to start curling your tailbone a little bit upwards. And you can imagine like a post-it note, the sticky side, when that comes to curl a bit off. And it's even less than that. It would just be a few millimeters. So go ahead, just curl your tailbone. You'll probably feel a little pressure coming into your feet naturally. Tailbone lifts a little away and your back will drop and press a little more into the earth. And then slowly, driving that beetle over 3 days, let your tailbone start to uncurl and come back to neutral. And each of us have a unique neutral position. Mine is with an arched back, yours may be flat or different. And then go ahead and just do that a few more times, allowing the tailbone to curl up. And you will feel inside your hips that there is a rotation following on from the tailbone curling upwards. Your hips will tilt a little up as well. And then when you release the tailbone, your hips will drop down. If you had a rolling pin, a wooden one with which you make pizza dough, and you'd stick that, well, that would be kind of your hips, and you have the handles on the sides, you'd roll the handles towards you and then away. And can you come to notice, we're going to stay with this movement for a little longer actually. Now with the tailbone releasing up and then down, what happens around your upper body, in your shoulders, the shoulder blades? Is your head moving at all? So I feel my whole upper body, my whole spine gliding along the floor up. So it's the initiation like a rocket, just it doesn't quite shoot off, but it's that direction. And then it glides back down. And in terms of probably appropriation of an ocean wave is better, right? So it's a soft, gentle slide of an ocean wave starting to glide over the sand, and it keeps coming and it keeps coming and gliding to the shore. And then there's a little pause, and then the ocean wave glides back, reclines into the vastness of the ocean. So that's your downward movement, your tailbone releasing. And are you pausing in between and sensing? If not, you're invited to do that. And soon enough, maybe another 2 or 3 times, that will be plenty, and you're invited to rest. You can take the legs long to rest. You could also take your arms underneath the head, interlacing the hands, so that you feel an expansion and stretch come to the whole of the body. And movement welcome too. If there's any discomfort or pain, or you just feel like moving, do that. Maybe drawing the knees into the chest. In general, it's nice to have some break and stay still at some point to notice the shifts and changes occurring inside your body, body universe, right? And then we come back, and we're gonna place the fetus before, knees bend, and we're gonna keep the hands interlaced underneath the hands underneath the head interlaced. And we're gonna actually arch ourselves a little over like a banana shape. So the whole upper body, can you lift yourself a little up and then walk your shoulders over to the right, so you feel your left side body fanning open like a Chinese fan, and your left elbow comes a little higher than the right, and then you lie yourself down like that. So you're lying flat on your back and your elbows are down on the floor. If they are not, and that's discomforting, just take cushions to support your elbows or shoulders, whatever is needed. So if I was to fly above you, I would see you curled open like a gecko, kind of slid over to one side. And then we're gonna start coming into the shoulders now. You're invited now to let your left elbow, so that's the side which is curved open, left elbow is starting to travel upwards. So let it float up, and the general direction will be towards the ceiling, towards the skies, only as far as feels comfortable. You may move 2 centimeters, you may move 20, does not matter. Whatever remains in your comfort zone, then slowly release the elbow back out until the elbow and the whole arm comes in touch with the ground, and then continue traveling that arm down until all muscles can relax and switch off. And we'll do that some more rounds. So when you're ready, in your own time, can start to let your elbow slide upwards. It's a floating really. And be curious, are you able to guide your elbow and your arm and shoulder in a smooth way, or is there some interruption? Is there some roadworks happening where you gotta kind of stop and remove a tree falling over the road, or something in the way? So neurologically, energetic pathways are there from the brain to the muscle, and if they are a little interrupted, if they're a little unconscious, if it was a road that maybe had some holes in it, slowing down this movement will allow us to fill in the holes in the road with consciousness, so we can then glide more smoothly across the road. And so the little wobbles that there may be when you're moving go even slower, maybe even less high, until you can control or bring the movement to be a smooth and even one. And that's plenty soon enough, so come to rest, staying as you are. Yawns, very welcome. Notice how your left side body feels, and also the shoulder and that side, neck and head and brain. And then slowly can lift yourself gently a little up from the earth and bring yourself back to centeredness, and then releasing the head and the elbows down. And then stay a moment here comparing left and right side. The ribs, shoulders, arm, head and neck. What has changed? What feels different from left to right? When you're ready, lift the head a little up, support it with your hands and arms. Slide over across to your left side now to fan open your right side ribs, and the right elbow comes a little higher up, the left dips a bit down, and then you relax your whole upper body, arms, shoulders, hands, head down to the floor. So from above you'd be that banana shape or gecko shape. I like that gecko, has a bit more elasticity than a banana. And when you're ready, please go ahead and allow the right elbow to start floating a little up. And just notice, how did you get yourself into the movement? Did it feel quite abrupt? Did you maybe surprise yourself? Was it prepared? Was it thought through? And how could you come into a rhythmic movement that allows you to be really present with the sensation in this whole complex of your arm, shoulder, even shoulder blade, and also becoming present with any helper muscles that may switch on that journey. So scanning your whole body whilst you're moving your right arm. So I can sense in my left hip actually something switches on when I raise my right elbow up. And so I stop a little moment and then bring my consciousness into the left hip. I decide that I want to release my left hip muscles. Brain makes it happen. And then I continue the journey. And that's where you'll find your own little helper muscles. And that's where the shift comes and the relaxation and the retuning into healthier muscular habits. So fuller presence of complete relaxation mode and fuller presence in moving mode. So we have less accidents in life too. You know, those abrupt things, quickly do this and then do that, and oh, too much, oh, car broke. And then maybe just one last one when you get there. And then slowly, maybe stay for a few moments. Sorry, I don't mean to rush. Notice how you feel yourself right now, internally. What's the connection with your whole body or the parts of your body that are resting into the earth? The head, the arms, the hips, the feet, shoulder blades. And then we slide a little up, lift the head a little up, and then release back down and come to rest. Invitation is to release the arms as well, maybe the legs long or one leg long, observing shifts and changes for a moment. Okay. So when you're ready, we're going to slide back down into the hips. We'll do another exercise with the hips, and then we'll combine both to close off class. So go to your feet, feel the soles of your feet, the puffiness, relaxation in your feet. The arms, hands can be any which way in a comfortable way, on the belly, hips alongside with some space for the ribs, space for the lungs to breathe. Can you now go ahead and press your right foot lightly into the ground, so just like that, the cat paw pause, 5-10%, and notice what happens when you press your right foot. I feel my right hip is becoming lighter, lifted a little away, the beginning of it, the buttocks from the ground, and then releasing that pressure of the right foot, and I can feel my right hip is releasing fully back down with its weight into the earth. Go ahead and do that a few more times. And can you use all four corners of your right foot to press evenly? And the next time, could you establish if your buttock muscles switch on, or could they stay relaxed? And buttock muscle, the right one actually, I mean, and the left, but more so the right, have consciousness there. And next time when you press your right foot into the earth, stay there, pressing your right foot into the earth. Keep your right hip slightly peeled away. Is your right buttock muscle switched on or off? Can you relax it and still keep your right foot pressing into the earth? Take time to do that. And then slowly release the pressure of the foot. Feel your right hip sinking down, body relaxed. Do that twice more. When you're ready, just having a little play or go at with your right buttock muscle. And when I did that practice yesterday, at first I couldn't actually sense it properly. On the left it was very easy, and the right it wasn't. And it took me a while just staying there to regain control of my right buttock muscle. So I'm curious to see how that will be for you. Once you've completed a few more rounds, then come to rest a moment, observing the shifts and changes in the right side and throughout your entire body. And then go ahead and do the same on the left side, starting to press your left foot lightly into the ground. At first, kind of ignoring the buttock muscle, just get a sense of what happens when you press all four corners of your left foot down. Your left knee will kind of drive a little away, lightness coming into the left side buttock, more pressure coming into the right side buttock and hip. Just be with that simple exploration of walking that left foot on the same spot, so to say. So it will be a limping walk. And then eventually, when you get there, just give yourself maybe 2 or 3 breaths with the left foot pressing into the earth, keeping that left backside hip buttock peeled a little off the ground, and then get into that left buttock muscle. Can you consciously relax it fully whilst pressing your left foot slightly into the ground? Could you relax your neck, your shoulders, the facial muscles, and then release? Do that twice more in your own time. Can you keep your left knee train tracked? So looking from above, it wouldn't drop out or in. It would stay in line with your foot, with the center of your hip socket. Lovely. And then we release out for a moment. Come to rest, either with long legs or knees standing. If you feel like stretching, yawning, or moving a little, that's very welcome. Maybe pointing toes for a moment. And when you're ready, we come to stand up the feet again. And we're going to add in one little more element before bringing the hips and the shoulders together. So I'd like you to add As we did at the beginning of class, we were curling the tailbone up. We're now going to do the opposite, meaning, so when we curl, go ahead and do that, just to remember, physically remember, pressing the tailbone into the ground a little. Sorry, we didn't do that, we peeled it off. So forget what I said. Go ahead, peel your tailbone lightly off the ground, feeling your mid-back and the whole of the back coming probably closer to the earth. Hips rolling a little up, tilting a little up, and then release out. Right. Do that one more time. Keep the whole body relaxed. Notice what happens in the head. Maybe there's a little rolling onto the back of the head, further towards the crown. Just a little, as in 5 millimeters. And now we're going to reverse this movement by allowing the tailbone to glide, pressing a little down into the earth, and the belly balloons up. So your mid-spine releases away, and you might be able to have a little mouse run underneath your back, or whatever you prefer. That might not be so nice. Caterpillar. And then slowly release. Don't squash it. Important, biodiversity. And then twice more, we're just going to press the tailbone down to the ground. Allow the belly to balloon up. Have that little arcing back for spaciousness underneath. Front body lengthening, back body shortening. Relax out. And actually the last time, can bring your hand onto the sternum, breastbone, one, and the other one towards your, or onto your pubic bone, if you're comfortable with that. Imagine a line is spun in between your two hands now, and then go ahead and press the tailbone. Feel the ballooning of the belly. Notice how your hands glide away. So if it was a thread, you'd be starting to stretch the thread in between your hands. And then release out and feel that your hands are coming closer, the thread is shortening. Do that a few more times. And whilst that happens, notice that the back side is the opposite. So it's shortening, whilst the front is lengthening. So pubic bone to sternum, away from another means lower back, shoulder blades closer. And then go ahead and combine the two movements now. So like a rocking boat, we're now going to curl the tailbone up, come through neutral, and then we're going to arch. So the mid-spine lifts, belly balloons, tailbone presses. A little wave coming through, and you may just want to relax your arms down alongside now, continuing that little rocking movement. And could you tune into how shoulders, neck and head go with or against this movement of the rocking pelvis? So likeliness is that your chin will start to lift up. You'll roll a little more towards the back, the upper part of the back of the head when your tailbone curls. And when you release the tailbone, your chin comes closer to your collarbone. Just take a few moments to make that movement conscious through the whole of the spine, and maybe go a little more extreme with the head, kind of emphasizing this micro movement into macro, just to create larger awareness. And then come to rest shortly enough and take a little break here, letting the legs come long. Stretching movement, welcome. Resting, welcome. Yawning. And so we come to bring the hips and the shoulders together now in a final exercise. You can interlace the hands behind your head, standing the feet back up. Knees, feet, hips, train tracking. Relax the whole body into the ground. Relax your thigh muscles. You may want to briefly kind of shake your legs so you feel your thigh muscles and your the backside muscles, hamstrings they're called, aren't they? Kind of flubbering around a bit. Okay. So please go ahead and start to suck your navel down into the ground now, resulting in your tailbone peeling off. And then start to float your left knee slowly up so your left foot leaves the ground and your left knee starts to release towards your chest, not into your chest, just towards. And then just observe if you're still sucking your navel down. If not, activate, re-engage your abdominal muscles, suck them down. Keep that connection to the ground, and then slowly, with your abdomen still sucking, allow your left knee to release slowly. That's the beetle, not the airplane. Back down to the ground. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel the weight pouring into the sole of your foot. Then feel your leg muscles switching off, relaxing. Pausing mode. Belly muscles switched off now. Re-engage your belly muscles, suck your navel down, and then allow your left knee to slowly float up. And I notice I'm rushing because I'm talking, so don't go by me, go by you. Keep your belly sucked in when the knee is floating up as far as feels comfortable. Keep that suction and slowly release the leg back down, the foot back down. And we're scanning for helper muscles around the shoulders and the neck and the head. One more time. And each time when you come down, relax. Relax the abdominal muscles and then re-engage. When you're ready, you can also now start to peel off your right elbow and diagonally bring that towards your left knee when that's floating up. And simultaneously, with your belly now sucked down, then allow the left leg and the right arm, elbow to release simultaneously back down to the floor. Okay. Twice more on the left side. And again, this is not a muscle strengthening exercise. This is an exercise to create neurological awareness and to repair our nerves, neurological connection from muscle to brain. And so this does not require maximizing, this requires consciousness, slowness, and rest. So to reset. Have a break when you get down with your left foot. Can release the arms for a moment. Notice sensations inside your left leg, the right leg. I can feel my left leg feeling a lot more alive and lighter. My right leg feels a little wooden-like. So what is it like for you? And where else have you sensation? And then we'll finish off with a second side. So when you're ready, interlace the hands back underneath your head, feet both standing. Just a few times will do. Activate your core, sucking your navel down. Just with the right knee, start floating that up. And consciously inviting helper muscles to relax around the shoulders, the neck, the jaw maybe, or anywhere else in the body where you can feel them. Take the breaks in between and then reactivate the navel And then soon enough, maybe on the third or fourth round, bring left elbow across towards the right knee simultaneously. And again, starting with a navel suction and staying comfortable in your whole body, in the neck and the head especially. Shoulders relaxed. And let the next round be your last round. And come to rest for a moment on the floor. You may want to draw both knees into your chest. You may want to bring the legs up. Maybe rock a little. Shake the legs a little. I love sliding hands over face. Oh, and yawning simultaneously helps me to drag out tension over the throat. That can go as well a few times with gentle pressure, unless you're make-upped, which I hope you're not, so you can do this. Oh. And then draw the knees into the chest to come rolling into Fetus Pose for a moment onto the side. Take a moment, at least 2 or 3 breaths, just getting a sense of how it feels to be rested, curled up. All muscles switched off. Then using the upper arm hand to press that into the earth, lengthen your upper leg long, keep your head relaxed, keep sliding your upper leg away, downwards, pressing, and that's the most healthy and gracious way of coming up seated slowly. And when you come to sit, just give yourself a moment, keeping the eyes closed. Sit comfortably. Stay present right here. How is your natural breath expressing now? What's the general landscape of your soma, your internal being, your sensory world? How do you feel same or different? Where can you notice shifts? How do you feel in your shoulders now? And just for fun, we can just let the shoulders glide up slowly, both together now towards the ears, and then releasing them back down. And this is the graduation movement. Just joking. And then twice more. Just see how much control is there, how smooth that journey can be. Notice where there's still holes in the road. And can that be okay? Kind of ongoing like that in life, isn't it? So we create a road, it's all beautiful and smooth and straight and even and fresh, and then it becomes a little undone and a little dusty and dirty, and then it takes care and time spending with it, repairing, renovating, renewing. Okay. We're closing just with a little gesture of thankfulness. I like really connecting with my heart, where I feel my heart space. Namaste. To remind myself that this is the place to move from, to think from, to live from. And so thanking you so very much for having joined. And I hope that you really enjoyed this and gained something from it, some more relaxation and perhaps insight. Thank you.